Do you know which stage your relationship is in at the moment? Hi, my name is Jackie Opie. I'm the creator of the 30-Day Intimacy Transformation, and I'm a love tutor. Today, what I'd love to share with you is the different stages in a relationship and how you can best identify where you're at in any one of those stages in a relationship. Now, why is that so important? Well, let me explain to you. Some people want to shift where they are in their relationship at the moment, but to be able to do that, they've got to know two things. One, where is it that they want to be? And number two, where are they right now? And when we know both of those things, it gives us the ability and the tools just to be able to move on to the next stage. So before I share the 3 stages within a relationship with you, I'd like to give you just a little bit of my story and why I do the work that I do. So for the most part, I work with women and men around intimacy and relationships. And the work that I do, I believe, is so critically important because when you have a look at the statistics out there at the moment in relationships, for first marriages or partnerships, including de factos, there is a 50% chance that they could end up in separation. Now that's only the first marriage or relationship. From there onwards, the statistics get worse for second, third, and fourth relationships. So I believe that the work that I do is so important because it gives people the skills that they need to be able to move through stages in their relationship and stay together as a couple if that's what they both want. So many people I speak to want to stay in good, healthy, strong relationships, but they just don't have the tools to be able to do it. And sometimes they come and see me, and by that stage, it's way too late. So I put this information out there freely because I want people like you to have a resource to go to when things get tough. Like myself, I've been in a relationship for 23 years with the same partner. We've got 2 adult children. We've got a 19-year-old and a 21-year-old. And I know that things can get really, really hard. And it's through my own personal experiences and the study and the work that I've done with couples that have brought me to this point today. So let me let you in on a couple of secrets when it comes to relationships. Most of us move through relationships, but we don't actually realize that we're moving through different stages in a relationship. So let me talk you through the very first stage. And if you're in a relationship or you've been in a long-term relationship before, you'll identify with this. So the first stage in any relationship, when you first meet somebody, you know, when you've got that excitement and you can't wait to get their text message or the phone rings and you hope and you pray that it's actually them calling you. And during this stage, there's a lot of excitement, but also a little bit of anxiety. It's like, oh my gosh, am I good enough? Are they going to like me? Did I do something or say something that upset them because you don't know them that well yet? This stage in a relationship is called Limerinth. And so this stage can be really exciting and a lot of fun, but man, it can be so exhausting at the same time. Because when you think about it, to have that level of excitement and energy flowing through your body means that you have a lot of other hormones flowing through your body. Now, this is really natural because it's the body's way of saying, oh, things are exciting, and it gets you moving and gets you doing things with your partner. So the hormones that are racing through your body at this time is dopamine, oxytocin, a bit of testosterone, whether you're male or whether you're female, and adrenaline. Now, when you've got adrenaline flowing through the body all the time, it gets really hyper, right? You know what it's like. You can get fatigued by it. So quite naturally, we move from one stage, the Limerinth stage, into the next stage. So think back to when you first started dating, whether you're in a relationship or not, but you've probably done some dating in the past. Think about how you felt during those times. And as I was saying, probably a little bit excited, maybe a little bit nervous. And so we move on from that. This stage normally lasts for most people about 12 months to 18 months. And then it kind of settles in and gets comfortable in the relationship. And the next stage that we move into is called deep connection. In this stage, things are still quite exciting for you. You enjoy each other's company, you get along really well, you have the odd argument because now you know each other and you feel a lot more comfortable to have, I guess, those more intense conversations that you have in a relationship. Now, this stage in a relationship can last for years. In fact, happy, strong couples stay in this stage for all of their relationship after the Limerinth period. In this stage, you're so comfortable with each other. You probably do things in front of each other that you would never even have dreamed of doing in the Limerinth stage. Maybe. Some couples are a bit more comfortable with each other. In this stage, you also start to develop some interests together. So you may have, in the Limerick stage, you may have still been doing your own thing. One of you might have been golfing and the other might have loved mountain biking. And so together you start to actually create some of the things that you do together. So in these stages, you might explore things like, let's learn to dance together, or let's do some exciting things. But essentially, the excitement in the relationship has died down. It doesn't mean that you're not happy and comfortable with each other. It just simply means that those highs and lows are out of the relationship, and it's more neutral, more balanced environment, which means that hormonally, thank goodness, things are able to settle down at this point. And I talk a lot more about the deep connection stage in the 30-day transformation, which I'll talk to you a little bit more about at the end. But essentially, in this stage, what's really, really important is that you continue to grow as a couple, that you continue to find things that excite you, that you love doing. Because there's two things that are really, really important in a relationship. Number one is stability. We all like to know that, your partner's going to be generally the same person today that they were yesterday. Generally that you're safe and that you're comfortable in a relationship. So the stability is really important. But there's one other thing that is so important in this stage in a relationship, and that is excitement. We all want a little bit of variety. And the trap that a lot of couples fall into is too much of the same thing day after day, and they get bored with each other. So in this stage of deep connection, it's so critical that you continue to explore new things, meet new people, go out together, and that you build a strength in the unity that you have in a relationship. So for some couples, they move out of the deep connection stage into a challenging space in their relationship. And this is where I was 6 years ago in my own relationship. 6 years ago, I made the decision that I was no longer happy in my relationship. My boys were absolutely devastated, and my partner as well, when I made the decision to move out of our family home. It was at this time that I started to explore what it was that made really great relationships and why other relationships ended up falling apart, even when all the people involved were really, really good people. It was heart-wrenching for me because I had watched my mum and dad while I was growing up go from argument to argument through drugs and alcohol and abuse. And I didn't want to be separated, knowing that I hadn't tried absolutely everything that I could. In those 4 weeks, I explored everything that I could. I learned more about relationships in those 4 weeks of being separated than I had in 15 plus years of marriage. And what I realized is that I wanted to be in a healthy, strong, good relationship. I wanted that because I'm a good person, my husband's a good person, and my kids are great people. We wanted to be together, but we just didn't know how to do that because neither of us had had great role models growing up with our own relationships. And many people I speak to haven't had that. This final stage is what I call cohabitation, where you're living together. You may love each other, but the sense of being in love with that person has disappeared. There's no adventure. It's just mundane. It's day after day after day of exactly the same thing. And this is such a dangerous place to be in relationships. It's a space where people often end up going and having an affair. It's a place where people often go to forms of addiction to escape the relationship that they're in, whether that's drugs or alcohol or gambling. And that is why I do the work that I do. That is why I'm so passionate about helping just one person make a difference in their relationship, because I know from my own personal experience that when two people want to make it work, they can. They can put aside all the stuff that's happened in the past and they can move on to the next stage if that's what they both want. And this is why I do the work that I do, because from my point of view, if I can just help one person, that's my job done. And I hope that that person is you. I hope that I can give you something that will add value to your life and to your relationship. So I run the 30-day intimacy transformation because I know what it took for me to move from that cohabitation stage back into deep connection with my partner. And the 30-day intimacy transformation is based off of years of research, off of other experts that do an amazing job in the space that they are, and off my own studies in positive psychology and so much else. So what I've done is put together 30 days of intensive learning where you can scan in on day one Every single day you get an email from me with some form of inspiration and motivation, a form of learning, a video, and then some homework that you get. And you can do this with or without your partner. Either way, what it means to me is once you've subscribed to this, it means that you've made a decision to take that next step in your relationship. No matter what stage you're in, whether you're in limerence, deep connection, or cohabitation, it doesn't matter. Don't leave it till things get out of control in a relationship before you start to do work on it. So if you're interested in signing up for the 30-day intimacy transformation, I would personally absolutely love to have you there. And I know that you will grow immensely from the process. Be warned, it is intense, but that's what it takes to transform a relationship. I so hope to see you on the other side of this, and thank you so much for joining me to your absolute relationship bliss.